So you got blue
the
screen.
computer's shutting down again.
There you go. There you go. You know what that means.
Okay, well, I'll just have to do without my thing. Let me tell you about the good news. Well, that's the good news, the bad news, the other shit. First of all, Vic,
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard this, but Republican, we say good, let's do good news,
All right.
bad news, and other shit. What can I do without the computer?
I know you can't do anything. So now that's just for the display, right?
Well, to show my videos.
Yeah, I know. That's why you can always go to a music break, my brother. A good music break, see if you can buy yourself some time. Remember, there's a saying we have here.
And play it on the broadcast machine?
Why not, man? You run this operation. I've cleaned my language up. I'm trying to.
No, let's just try to go through it. We'll just deal with it.
Okay, there you go, man.
We'll just deal with it. We'll just see we're having Russian roulette over here on our broadcast machine.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. Okay, first of all, one of the stories, we'll just do them in the weird order we have them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys realize this, but the Republican presidential candidate who's in the lead right now is Newt Gingrich.
Yeah, it all depends.
And mainly, even though Romney looks like the one he has the best chances to really contest Obama, Newt Gingrich has come back, but he's still putting his foot in his mouth in a way that makes some people want to put a foot in his ass. But so what he did was just recently in a speech that he made, a pre-debate speech, he described the Palestinians as an invented people. Now, there's been a lot of follow-up on that because a lot of them get kind of pissed off when you say those kind of things about them.
Invented people. Right?
Invented people.
Okay. Let's just say they were invented. Who invented them?
Yeah, I guess we all invented in some instances. It's what he meant by that. That's kind of interesting. It's amazing because people love to describe as intelligent. And I go, if he's so intelligent, why does he keep saying stupid things?
Maybe he's targeting.
Oh, he's
the group.
that kind of intelligent.
Remember what this is an exercise in survey and analysis that they go out and find out who they're talking to in most cases and hopefully get more right than wrong. What do you think? That they're more correct because there's a group that follows it, or are you getting the responses from your data that he messed this up?
He messed it up, and they're trying to do damage control. But he's known for this. He's known for,
right.
Like I said, that's what's amazing. I always tell people, he's so smart.
Right.
Why does he always keep saying stupid things?
And let me just say this.
Stupid things.
I don't know if I can qualify or quantify, because I'm not in that position, of saying the impact of Newt leading when you don't have any substantial leader in the base that you're representing. So say if it's a low ceiling, okay.
So what you're saying?
Thank you. Yes, I'm
Well,
saying
Republicans are, roughly 50% of your voting public.
Yeah, but remember, they are still trying to find that new voice. And I'm saying this. I'm gonna say Romney. Just give you guys Romney. You probably know way more than I do. What's different about Romney before that's different now? Why is he going to work now? Aren't they looking at, this is just a crazy opinion of mine, that they want him in position hoping that the Democrats fail, that they win by failure? Because what's the new voice?
Well, that's what I'm saying, but it's very weak, and a weak way to go at it. Everybody's criticizing it. Part of the conspiracy really is about the way that the Republican candidates seem to be imploding, So that's a conspiracy. So Obama doesn't have to be better than anybody.
That's what I'm
Look
saying.
at what he has to run against.
Thank
This
you.
is the joke.
Right.
So even though we're very displeased with his program and what his lack of program, he doesn't have to do anything but beat these bumbling idiots. It's like running against the Three Stooges. Okay,
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right. No, I agree. It's the part is that it's like we say all the time. You could be the fastest runner on the block and go like, my God, but you may be the slowest runner in the whole community. So until you get off the block, everybody celebrates you in that small little area that you're in. And I'm just saying right now, if Newt is the one leading, I said, how much hope do you think is going to bring? What he's going to do is say, let me tell you everything that happened back when, right? Isn't
Right.
that's going to be his whole argument.
Right.
So there's no forward-leading message of the new, of where we're going progressively. It becomes, let me point out all the things that's wrong. They say old men can't help but keep hating because they're old.
That's right, and that's why the following is so little. They have a certain following that's really loyal to that.
Right.
But they are not growing in size. Well, let's take a look. You know, I told you in Moscow, you have one of the biggest protests in years. Really, they say it's the biggest protest in recent Russian history. As people turned out protesting the December 4th parliamentary election there that said, everybody says it's corrupt. So, you know, like we talked about Occupy Wall Street here, dissatisfaction everywhere.
Right.
As people do things. I'm trying to pull them now. The system came back. Thank you, system.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to get that right now and get up this piece to take a look at how Moscow faces biggest protests in years.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And, you know, hard to miss it. It's been, you know, it's. I don't know if it has the same impact. I remember the time where the Soviet Union and Russia was like big headlines. Now, I hate to say this, they're just, because of the system they have set up, they're not as impactful to us.
Because they're not challenging, so-called. They're not, we haven't, see, without the U.S. media drumming up the story of the big evil empire.
Right.
It looks different because the media are not constantly telling you, beware.
Right.
Beware.
Right.
Well, take a look at this piece from RT.com that actually a combination of video and photos that shows you what's going on right now.
Global News 24/7. This is RT live from Moscow with me, Rory Souchet. A 25,000-strong opposition rally in Moscow is breaking up following a peaceful protest in the heart of the Russian capital. The call to arms was issued after Sunday's parliamentary election that the opposition claimed was rigged. RT's Anissa Nawi now joins us live with details. Anissa, so the rally appears to be winding up. How's it gone today?
It is indeed. Just several hundred people left at Moscow's biggest protest in some 20 years. It has gone on throughout the day without any kind of incident. It has been very peaceful. Protesters were calling for that. And in fact, organizers have praised police restraint. Certainly, there's been lots of security here in central Moscow. But like I said, so far, everything has gone pretty smoothly. I just want to step out of the shot and give you a better idea of what's happening. You can see people trickling out. No more flags. People just walking through the park, slowly making their way home. No more music. Music was playing throughout the day, lots of flag waving, and so on. Really just thousands, tens of thousands of people coming out in Moscow today to call for free and fair elections. Basically, protests started earlier this week on Monday and Tuesday, and then we saw a bit of a lull as people prepared for this big protest. They did get the kind of outcome that they were expecting, although it has to be said some of the opposition speakers today claiming there was 100 or 150,000 people here. Clearly, that's not the case. The Ministry of Internal Affairs confirming that some 25,000 people came out to call for free and fair elections.
Well, obviously, Anissa, the people are making their voices heard, making a stand against the government. But what's the government been saying?
Well, both President Medvedev and Prime Minister Vladimir Putin have encouraged that, saying that people should come out and voice their opinions, voice their demands. This was a sanctioned protest. There was another gathering at Revolution Square, which is not very far away. There wasn't a permit for that. Most of the protesters who went there slowly and peacefully made their way to this sanctioned protest. But some of the harsher comments we heard from the government, in particular Vladimir Putin, were about actually outside comments about the Russian elections and Russia in general, specifically coming from Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, which stated that the Russian elections were neither free or fair. Vladimir
like
Putin
and
many
fair.
Russian officials see that as stepping over a line. And with that said, also the Central Election Committee has confirmed that the results are fair. There were minor violations and they will be investigated.
Now, the election attracted worldwide attention, Anissa, and if recently exposed documents are anything to go by, it was fairly high-level attention as well, wasn't it?
That's true, and those documents really actually focus on the U.S. State Department. Coincidence or not, whether or not those comments were made by Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, but they're about an observing commission, which is called GOLIS, and emails that were written between the State Department and GOLIS, between observers and officials there. And you can go onto the site of Like News to somehow obtain these. GOLIS is saying illegally, and they're actually filing legal action against them. But nevertheless, anyone who wants to can go onto this site and actually read in English comments such as how much will we be paid for each and every violation that we find. So those details clearly support some of those comments made by Prime Minister Vladimir Putin. And again, GOLIS has not denied those claims.
Wow. So as you see, the issue still is that whether or not there's some involvement in U.S. muckraking, as well, that stuff happens, Vic. So it looks a little funny, huh?
Okay, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. It's at this point, people are getting an education that this is just a transfer of power from one individual, from one group to another group, and how they manage it. What's the focus? How progressive? I mean, the whole thing about what gets me about Russia, period, is it's a wonderful lesson. I'm gonna say this. It's a wonderful lesson of how you spend too much money in one area and look at the domino effect. And that it's going to eventually happen, which has happened to us.
Right, because they tried to have those fronts, all that military spending, and they bankrupt their country, and the country collapsed.
And have they recovered to the place they once were?
No.
Okay.
And they're not going to, because they're not even the country they once were, because part of it is that the country unraveled to some extent. It was the USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics,
and broke up into other provinces, and they empowered themselves or countries. And so, Mar, you ready for Texas, North Dakota, Wyoming, Idaho?
You already had that. That was a civil war.
Chicago's about to make a move.
They're trying to succeed. It ain't gonna happen. Besides, we were told, like I told you, people are posting on my my Facebook page, articles that maybe I'll get to next week about drones being used domestically. Right. But as we told you last week, Iran has captured a U.S. surveillance drone identified as the RQ-170 Sentinel.
Right.
They say they're keeping it, and they said that, first of all, that these acts of invading their airspace are really a hostile act. Let's take a look at this piece.
Is he petting the drone?
After the initial ambiguities and denials by the Pentagon, Washington finally decided to come clean on the loss of one of its most advanced and secret unmanned aircraft over Iran. The RQ-170 Sentinel, built by Lockheed Martin Corporation, has been designed for top-secret spying missions. Its radar-absorbent skin has been designed to make it literally invisible to even the most sophisticated radars in operation today. The spy drone was used to eavesdrop on Osama bin Laden's hideout in Pakistan before the much-publicized U.S. raid on his compound. Nicknamed the Beast of Kandahar, it is believed the aircraft has been operating out of Kandahar Air Base in Afghanistan since 2010. This is not the first time, however, that U.S. drones have been brought down in Iran. Tehran has reported at least a dozen instances of American spy drones shot down since the U.S. invasions of Iraq and Afghanistan. But by Monday, other U.S. officials rebuked the CIA denials and confirmed that the drone downed in Iran's airspace had indeed belonged to the U.S. spy agency. And what's worse, Afghan officials have confirmed that it had been on a mission over Iran for the CIA. While the U.S.